published.
Hello, scientists! I hope you are ready as I am for today's adventure. Welcome to Science 5, where learning becomes easy. Together, we will explore, discover, and find answers to the mysteries of the world through science. Hang tight, for we will answer your what, how, and why questions. Let me take you where your imagination will allow you to go. Let us learn everything under the sun. I am your grade 5 super science teacher, Teacher Johanna Liza. Come and join me in our exciting science adventure. To start today's lesson, these are the 5 tips for you to remember to keep your neck, back, and eyes healthy while indulging in some screen time. This is the 5 healthy tips for your health and safety.
Number 1. Sit properly. Make sure you are well supported. Your back should be touching the chair backrest. Number 2. Change your position regularly. If you are watching for long periods, take turns sitting on the chair or floor. Number 3. Keep dim lighting on in the room. Strong or no lighting may lead to eye damage over time. Number 4. Stretch. You may pause the video to change position. Get up, walk around, and do gentle stretches. Number 5. Don't watch videos in bed as this often leads to neck and back ache.
For today's adventure, we will once again explore and examine some of the materials around us. Reminder, please prepare your self-learning module, paper, and pen. These things are important for we will be using them as we continue to discover everything about conductors of heat and electricity. For today's lesson, we will learn to identify materials that are conductor and insulator. I am excited to explore this topic with you today. But before we move on to our new lesson, let us first check what you already know about this topic. You can also use your knowledge about the physical properties of matter, specifically conductivity, that you learned in the first quarter. To help us recall our previous lesson, let us call in our friend, Astro J. Can you help me find Astro J? Let's go. Astro J, where are you? Astro J? Oh, there you are. Where have you been? Is there any problem?
My rocket lacks fuel.
Now, young scientists, Astro J needs our help. We will help her fuel the rocket. If we can get 5 golden stars, we can fuel the rocket up to 100%. Do you want to help Astro J? Great! You are so kind to help her. So, we need to accept the challenge. This time, allow me to share to you the rules of the challenge. I will show you a word or an object. All you have to do is to identify the material if it is conductor or insulator. If it is conductor, show me a smiling face. If it is an insulator, show me a crying face. There will be 5 levels that we need to pass in order to collect golden stars. For every correct answer, you will get 1 golden star. You are given 5 seconds to show a face. Get ready. Let's play What Am I? Guess Me Challenge. Level 1. Is it a conductor or insulator? Great! A key is a conductor. Level 2. Is it a conductor or insulator? Marvelous! Plastic cup is an insulator. Level 3. Is it a conductor or insulator? Fantastic! Pot holder is an insulator. Level 4. Is it a conductor or insulator? Amazing! Copper wire is a conductor. Level 5. Is it a conductor or insulator? Very good! Book is an insulator. Oh! We got 5 golden stars! Astro J's rocket is now ready to go. Young scientists, say goodbye for now to our friend Astro J.
The emergency disrupt system is now active.
And now, get ready to explore.
Electricity is one of the important things in our lives. Our appliances and gadgets at home requires electricity to function. Have you ever wondered how does electricity reach your homes? Have you ever asked yourself why you don't get electrically shocked when you touch an electric cord? Have you also wondered why a material becomes hot whenever it gets near to fire or even just putting it to a hot object? How is it transferred from one object to another? Young scientists, together, we will answer your how and why questions.
This time, let's play Complete Me, the puzzle challenge. In this activity, we will solve the puzzle by using the given clues. Heat transfer through direct contact. Correct! The word is conduction. Number 2. Materials that do not transfer heat and electricity. You get it! The answer is insulator. Number 3. It is a form of energy that keeps us warm. You're making it to the top. The correct answer is heat. Number 4. Materials that allow electricity and heat to transfer. Amazing! The word is conductor. Number 5. The flow of electrical power or charge. Very good! The answer is electricity. Young scientists, let's buckle up because it's activity time. We will go to our science laboratory.
Get ready with your materials. We need pot holder, metal spoon, match, and candle. Reminder, take precautionary measures and ask assistance from an adult in doing this activity. Never do this activity without an adult supervision. If you cannot do it now, don't worry. You can watch again the video when someone is already with you.
At the end of this investigation, we will answer these questions. What happens to the metal spoon when it was heated over the candle flame for 5 minutes? Why do you think it happened? How will you describe the direction of the heat transfer in the activity?
These are the things that we need to do. First, feel the metal spoon with your bare hands. How does it feel? Yes, it's cold. Second, light the candle with a match. Always remember to be careful. Third, hold the end of a metal spoon with a pot holder. Fourth, hit the other end of the spoon in a candle flame for 5 minutes. Then, observe. Pause the video while doing the activity in 5 minutes. After you have done the activity, play it again. Pause the video in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back, young scientists! Can you now tell me what happens to the metal spoon when it was heated over a candle flame for 5 minutes? Why do you think it happened? You are right! The metal spoon became hot. It is because of the heat from the candle. How will you describe the direction of the heat transfer in the activity? That's correct! The heat of the spoon came from the lighted candle. In Science 5, there is always time to explore. Make sure you are ready because we have another activity. If you want to experience doing it, please be careful because we will be using hot water. Ask assistance from an adult. Now, I will show you how different kinds of materials conduct heat. At the end of this investigation, we will answer these questions.
To begin, we are going to take a bowl. 1 spoon made of wood, 1 spoon made of metal, and 1 spoon made of plastic. Then, we are going to take a small pat of butter and place it on top of spoon. Once you have the butter on the spoons, we're going to put a bead on the butter in the three spoons. After you have the butter and bead on the spoon, it's time to move on to the next step. Take hot and just boiling water and slowly pour into the bowl. Just make it sure the spoons do not fall into the water. Once you have the water on the bowl, we are going to wait and see what happens.
Now, can you tell me what happens to the bead and batter in each spoon when boiling water is poured into the bowl? Amazing! The bead go down and spoon made of metal because the heat of boiling water transferred to the metal spoon, while in spoon made of wood and plastic, beads and batter remain on its position. And for the second question, how will you describe the direction of the heat transfer in the activity? Correct. The heat of the metal spoon came from the boiling water.
Heat can be transferred in many ways, and one of which is through conduction. In conduction, heat is transferred from hotter to colder objects, and they must be in direct contact or touching each other. Example, take a look at these objects. One object is at 0 degrees Celsius in temperature, and the other is 100 degrees Celsius in temperature. When the two objects are in direct contact with each other, heat transfer from hotter object, which is 100 degrees Celsius, to colder object, which is 0 degrees Celsius. At this point, the two objects will have the same temperature, and that is what we call as thermal equilibrium. Now let's have another example. If one object has a temperature of 100 degrees Celsius and the other object has a temperature of 10 degrees Celsius, when these two objects are in their contact with each other, what happens to their temperature? Very good. After the two objects are in contact with each other, heat transfer from hotter object, which is 100 degrees Celsius, to the colder object which is 10 degrees Celsius in temperature. At this point, the two objects will have the same temperature, which is 55 degrees Celsius. In terms of medium of transfer, materials that are involved in conduction are generally in solid form. But do all solids conduct heat? Looking back on our activity earlier on the three different kinds of spoons, it shows that heat cannot travel through all solid objects. Let us try another example. Let us take a pot of hot water and put one iron bar, a plastic ruler, a pencil, and a pair of stainless scissors in the pot. After a few minutes, if we touch the other end of each object not soaked in hot water, what do you feel? Yes, the iron bar in pair of stainless scissors are warm, which means heat has transferred from one end to the other end of the object. But the other end of the plastic ruler and pencil are cold. So in here, the heat did not transfer unlike in the iron bar and scissors. What can we learn from this? Yes, heat can pass through materials. Materials that allow heat to pass through are called conductors. Examples are steel, iron, or any metal. Materials that do not allow heat to pass through are called insulators. Examples are materials that are made of wood and plastic. So now, you can easily tell why there are plastic handles of utensils which are used in cooking. As we saw, this plastic is an insulator, so it will not become very hot when we are cooking food while putting the utensils in the stove or firewood. So, we can hold the utensil easily without burning our hands. Now, being scientists, let us discuss further about the transfer of heat. Heat transfers not only through conduction, heat transfer in three ways. To share to you the different ways of heat transfer, Astro J leave us this video.
Heat is a form of energy that can be transferred from one object to another, or even created at expense of the loss of other form of energy. Now imagine you have a pot full of water and you put the pot on top of the stove. Now the pot becomes hot, and as the time goes by, the water began boiling. The stove produces fire, and the energy formed in the fire was then transferred to the pot. That's why the pot becomes hot, and also because of that energy transfer, the water starts to boil. That process is called the heat transfer. There are three forms of heat transfer: the conduction, convection, and the radiation. When heating a pot full of water, all three forms of heat transfer are taking place. Conduction takes place with the transfer of heat from the stove to the pot. The water boils by the process of convection, and the heat from the flame radiates in all directions. But what are conduction, convection, and radiation? Let's discuss first the conduction. Conduction is the process in which the transfer of heat takes place between objects by direct contact. The key of conduction is direct contact. Notice that the pan is in direct contact with the fire. The energy from the pan to the egg is transferred in a process of conduction, as well as the energy of the pot to the rice. Notice that the egg is in direct contact with the pan and the rice is also in direct contact with the pot. So now let's go to the convection. Convection is the transfer of heat by the movement of fluid. Hot beverages or hot coffee, to be specific, is another example of convection. You know why? It is because the steam coming out of hot coffee in the form of warm air rises because of the heat of the fluid. Last form of heat transfer is the radiation. Radiation is a transfer of energy from its origin to the surroundings. The most common example of heat transfer by radiation can be felt every day. It is the sunlight. Like the alligators and the lizards, they use the radiation from the sun to warm their bodies. There are also radiations that are difficult to feel compared to the sun because of the lower differences in the temperature between the source and the object. One example is the radiation produced in our mobile phones. We cannot see it nor feel it, but the radiation is very dangerous to our body. So that's the concept of heat transfer and the three forms of heat transfer. Now, I will flash some pictures or situations and try to answer what form of heat transfer it uses. What form of heat transfer is used when ironing clothes? What is your answer? Yes, it is conduction, correct. Flat iron produces heat and then transfers the heat to the clothes in a process of conduction. Now another question. What form of heat transfer is used to boil the soup? Convection, correct. The soup boils because of the transfer of heat from the fire and pot to the soup, and this process is called convection. Last question. It is sunny day and you're playing outside. Suddenly, you feel that your skin becomes hot. How does this happen? That's right, it happened because the heat from sunlight transfers to your body in a process of radiation. So that's it guys, I hope you learned a lot about the concept of heat transfer.
Conductors also allow electricity to pass through. Now, let us take a look at this. Let's take a look at some different objects. We have some metals, some plastic, and a piece of wood. At first, we have a copper. Hold it up. The bulb is lighted, so it is a conductor. How about this piece of plastic? Turn on the switch. Nothing happens. It is an insulator. Now, we have another piece of metal. It's aluminum. Turn on the switch, and yes, it is a conductor. Now, how about the wood? Hook it up and turn the switch. Nothing happens, so it's an insulator. Now let's try a marking pen. Turn on the switch. Nothing happens, so it is an insulator. Now, can you easily tell which material is a conductor and which is an insulator? Now let's try this. Oh no! The circuit is broken. Can you help Mr. Froggy light the bulb? What do you think are the materials can Mr. Froggy use to complete the circuit if he has the following materials in the box? Wood, plastic bottle, paper roll, pencil, ball pen, piece of iron. Are you sure with your answer? Let's watch this. Now, young scientists, let's help another friend. He is Clyde. Help him decide which slide should he play. If you're Clyde, and if the sun shines so bright, which slide will you play?
Wow! Slides! Hey guys, should I go on this slide? Hmm.
Do you have your choice already? Let's see if you made the right decision.
Zoom! Ouch! It's very hot! It's burning! I don't know what's wrong with it. Should I go again? Okay. Should I try that one? Hmm. Zoom! Wow, it is cool.
If you have chosen slide made of plastic, then you are correct. Slide made of metal becomes very hot because the heat from the sun transferred into the slide made of metal. This time, as a student, what can you share to other children like you to avoid accident due to electrocution or electric shock? Write your answers in the activity sheet. You may pause the video if you need enough time to answer. Why do we need to know which materials are conductors and which materials are insulators? It is important to know them to avoid accidents and injuries, especially in dealing electricity, so we don't get shocked. Never play with electrical cords, switch, and plugs. Stay away from broken power lines. Tell an adult if you see the fallen electrical lines. Never use a hair dryer or play an electrical radio or television near a bathtub or sink. Before you climb a tree, look out if the fallen electrical line is nearby or is touching a tree. Then, stay away. Never touch anything that is connected in the electricity when your hands are wet. Fly kites and model airplanes in the open field, but never near or overhead electrical wires. Stay away from a transformer and beware when you see electrical warning signages and boards. Let us see if you have grasped the essence of today's lesson. To check conceptual understanding, identify the following materials accordingly. Write your answers in the activity sheets.
learned something from our lesson. Tomorrow, we will explore Lesson 2 of this module, Properties of Good Conductors. That's all for today, and again, I am your grade 5 super science teacher, Teacher Johaina Liza. Always remember, understand science in its true sense. I will see you again tomorrow. Goodbye!